You guys, this is the best day ever. Mr. Davis is selling some of his records, and he had a big box that he let me go through, and I picked out 6 records that he's going to sell to me. They're awesome. Let me show you. I'm getting Saddle Up by Eddie Cort and Dean Johnson, and he's given that to me for only $1.95. And I'm getting Christmas with the Happy Crickets, and he's going to give that to me for only $3.15. Knuckles O'Toole plays honky tonk piano. Can you believe he's going to sell this to me for only $2.25? This is so awesome. And for only $2.89, I'm getting favorite waltzes, 22 favorite waltzes with the mom and dads. Check out how cool and edgy this group is. For just $2.89. And then I'm getting Bobby Vinton party music. I am going to have a party, and I'm going to play this at my party. And I'm getting that for only $1.10. $1.10. And then finally, Love Has Come My Way for only $1.25. Problem is, I only have $20, so I hope I have enough money to get all these. I'm going to find out right now. Let's see. $1.95 plus $3.15 plus $2.25 plus $2.89 plus $1.10 plus $1.25 is $12.59. Yes, I have enough money. This is so exciting. I wonder if there would have been a quicker way I could have figured out if I had enough money. What if I had used rounding? There's a word you might have heard before. Works like this. I'm gathering my records, and we'll try this again. Let's see. Saddle Up. That's $1.95, about $2. Christmas with the Happy Crickets. That was $3.15, about $3. So about $2, about $3, about $5. And Knuckles O'Toole is $2.25, so that's about $2. So I was at $5, another $2, that puts me at $7. Waltzes with the moms and dads, $2.89, let's just call it $3. So I was at $7, $3 more puts me at $10. $1.10 for Bobby Vinton, it's about another $1, so I was at $10, now I'm at $11. And $1.25 for Love Has Come My Way. Now that's about $1, so I was at $11, about $12. So it got pretty close. The actual price was $12.59, but it got me really close. It was easy for me to see $20 was going to be enough. What if I only had $12 in my pocket and I thought, I don't know if I have enough money, and I had rounded and estimated like I just showed you, and I'd come up with $12, I might go, well, it says 12, but it might be a little over or a little under. I'm going to have to be more precise. I better use a calculator. But I had $20, so I knew I was clear. I didn't need to be that precise. And there are a lot of situations in life where you don't have to be that precise. You just round things. It makes a lot more sense to round things off a lot of times. And that's what you're going to be learning today. But first, I want to show you something else. So you're learning two things in math today. Before we go on to talk about rounding, which is one of the things you're learning about, I want to teach you the other thing, which is how to simply say decimal numbers correctly. Here's what a lot people do a lot of times. I even see people in the news do this. 2,758.387. That's actually the incorrect way to say it. People would understand you, but it's not right. The correct way to say this is 2,558 and 387 thousandths. How do I know that? Because I know how to do this, and now I'm going to teach you how to do it. Here's how it works. You think of this as two different numbers. The first part and the second part. The first part's easy. You already know how to do the first part, 2,758. When you get to the decimal point, you have to say the word and. You say and. Then you do the second part, and all you have to do is say that number, 387. But you have to finish it with one thing. You have to say a word at the end. What you have to say is the place that the last digit is in. Now in this case, we've got tenths, hundredths, thousandths. It's in the thousandths place. So we end it with the word thousandths, like this. 2,758 and 387 thousandths. What if the last digit was this one? Now we have 2,758 and 38 hundredths, 38 hundredths. What if I squeezed a zero in there? 2,758 and, well, it's still the number 38. It's got a zero before it, but that doesn't affect it. It's still the number 38. But now the last digit is in the thousandths place. So we say 38 thousandths. I could add another digit. Now we've got 2,758 and 384 tenths, hundredths, thousands, 10 thousandths. 384 ten thousandths. That's all there is to saying a decimal. You simply say the word and then you read the number, just like you normally would, and just finish it off with whatever place the last digit is in. It's like the last name of the number. That's what you say. And that's all there is to saying a decimal number correctly. There's one situation where you don't say the and. You could, but it's not necessary. Often there will be a zero in front of the decimal point. Normally you wouldn't say 0 and 384 ten thousandths. You would simply say 384 ten thousandths. If there's nothing before the decimal, you don't really say and. It's just how they made it be. Let's talk about rounding numbers, just like I did with the records. So when we round numbers, we take something like, I had one record that was $1.89, or it was $2.89, but it doesn't matter. And I, like $1.89 would round to, when I'm rounding it, I would probably call it just about $2. What I'm doing is I'm rounding it to the dollars or the ones place. Sometimes you might round it to a different place. In the case of money, often you round it to the dollars place. Unless the thing is really expensive. Like, what if the thing is $489? We might round it to the hundreds place and call it about $500. It just depends on the situation. In any case, I'm going to show you two different ways to think about this, and hopefully one of them will kind of work for you. Now, the first way I'm going to show you is the way that I find that kids usually relate to the best. And it works like this. First, you decide what place you want to round to. Like, okay, let's say I want to round to the hundreds place. So what I do is I look at that digit. I don't look at anything off to the left, which in this case is easy because there is nothing to the left. And then I look to the number immediately to the right. To the right. Not to the left, not up, not down, to the right. So 4 is the one I underlined, then to the right, and I ignore everything else. I cover everything else. It's 48. 48 is between 40 and 50. Which is it closer to? Well, you can probably tell that it's closer to 50. Now there is a rule for doing this, and that's the second way I'm going to show you, but I'm not going to show it now. It's just simply 40, between 40 and 50. It's closer to 50. So we're going to turn it into 50. And then everything else is going to become a 0. So $489 is about $500. What if I were going to round it to a different position? Like what if I were going to round it to the nearest 10? Okay, that's this digit. So I look at that digit and I look at the digit to the right. 89 is between 80 and 90. And which is it closer to? It's closer to 90. So I turn it into 90. And everything to the left stays the same. So if I was rounding to the tens place, 489 becomes 490. Let's look at it on this number that I wrote up here. 2,758 and 347 thousandths. All right, let's round it to the tenths place, right there. So I look at that digit and the digit to the right, 34. So it's between 30 and 40. Which is it closer to? It's closer to 30. So we're going to turn it into 30. Everything to the right becomes a 0. Everything to the left stays the same. All right. What if I was going to round it to the hundredths place? 47. It's between 40 and 50, and it's closer to 50. Everything else becomes a 0, but there is nothing else. Everything to the left stays the same. Like that. One tricky one is when you hit this. Like, what if we're rounding to the ones place? Sometimes kids, the first time they try this, get confused because they go, well, wait, there's a decimal point between them. Yeah, just ignore that decimal point. So we're rounding to the ones place, and we look at the number to the right. It's a 3. That's 83, so it's between 80 and 90, and it's closer to 80. So we're going to make it 80. Everything to the right is 0. Everything to the left stays the same. Okay, we're going to talk about the second method. The second method is actually the same as the first method. It's just a slightly different way of thinking about it. It's maybe a little more technical or rule-oriented. And it works like this. When we underline, let me use a different place. Let's use this place. We're going to round to the tens place. So we look at that digit and we look at the number to the right. Now, instead of going, that's partway between 50 and 60, we actually use a rule. We go, okay, we're rounding to the tens place. We look at the digit to the right. If it's 4 or less, we do what we call rounding down, but I like calling it leave it the same. And here's what I mean. So if it's 5 or more, it goes up. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. If it's 5 or more, you round up. Well, in this case, the digit to the right is 5 or more. And so we round up. 58 becomes 60. Everything else is a 0. Everything to the left stays the same. But this 4 or less situation, here's where that comes in. Like, what if I was rounding to the 10ths place? So I look at that digit and I look at the digit to the right. It's, in this case, it's 4 or less. It's not 5 or more, it's 4 or less. So we round down. Well, what that means is we round it down to 30. The reason I like to say leave it the same is sometimes I see kids do this. They go, okay, it's 4 or less, so I round down, so they turn the 3 into a 2. And that's wrong. You would leave the 3 the same. So underline the digit you're rounding to. Look at the digit to the right. In this case, it's 4 or less, so I go down, or in other words, leave it the same. It becomes 30. Everything else is a 0. Everything to the left stays the same. Like that. Probably should look at one more, and then we'll call it good. I'm going to make a special situation. I'm going to do 4, 0, 5, 9. Okay. And let's say we're rounding to the 10th place. We look at that digit and the one to the right, and it's a 0. Sometimes kids will go, oh, I don't know what to do with a 0. Actually, it's really simple. 40 is between 40 and 50, and obviously it's closer to 40. But if we look at the rules, 0 would not be 5 or more. 0 would be 4 or less. So that means we round it down, or in other words, leave it the same. So it becomes 40. Everything else is a 0. Everything to the left stays the same. I don't expect you to be an expert with that just from that quick bit of teaching I did. But hopefully it's enough to kind of get you started and then know what questions to ask if you have some further questions. All right, you can go ahead and try your worksheet.